All right, welcome back to Bikeride number whatever the hell the fuck it is. And this one is going to be Barrio de Waterloo, Waterhood neighbourhood, to back to sort of Holborn, probably, maybe via Covent Garden. Interesting car behind me, a Chevrolet Volt, which we've just had to move to allow the guy to charge it. First generation electric car, all electric car. You can see it's on a 13 plate, so from 2013, Chevrolet Volt. Bit of a collector's item, I would think, really. Anyway, off we go. I think the bike lane here might go the other side. Yeah, it goes the other side of those plants. And this is lovely, isn't it? These palm trees and stuff. It is quite gone more corporate though. It used to be a lot more. But that place there, Maison Don Philippe was the only place that was open, more or less, after you'd finished. Me and Max van Sydow go for a few pints and have a bit of a punch up with some sailors. So yeah, Gales. Now Gales, very ambiguous feelings about. But I was having a meeting with somebody in the Gales just off Tottenham Court Road, and I was tying my bike up, and the bloke was tying his bike next to us. And I don't think he knew who I was, but he said, I own Gales. And he said, what do you think? And I said, your pricing's too high. I said, you're too expensive. And he said, well, coffee's only 20p more than a Starbucks, I think he said at the time. I said, you're still too expensive, mate. Don't give me that shit. But their prices haven't come down really, and the people that go to Gales don't seem to care really, but I still think that what they have the nerve to charge for a baguette is redonkulous. There's a Deliveroo rider here, stopped at a red light. He's probably being paid too much, I think, if he's not risking his life by ploughing through traffic and risking being hit by cars. He's obviously on Easy Street, he's obviously getting paid a massive amount of money to deliver those meals. All right, let's go. Let's keep going west for a little while before we swing around and go over Waterloo Bridge. This is the. Maybe we'll go down the cut here. It looks more Lower Marsh. This is Lower Marsh. Be more interesting than that slightly bleak road. La Barca. That's the other place where you can go for a meal after being on the old Vic, proper old-fashioned Italian. Again, staggeringly expensive, but you feel like you're getting some for it. Ooh, bibimbap, Korean street food. There used to be here years ago what's called a tog shop. That's where we get togs from when we talk about clothes, which was a shop that sold. They used to have racks and racks of clothes hanging outside. It sort of, it looked really Victorian. I guess it's gone now. Lower Marsh used to be fascinating, very historic. If I'd bothered to do any research about this, I could probably tell you all kinds of interesting facts about who'd lived in Lower Marsh. But I don't really. Next, we should sort of turn round and go to the spot where Paddy Considine, as panicky Guardian journalist, is where the hitman parks his car, which I think is round the back of Waterloo. And then I think I'd turn round and that's a good scene. First three Jason, but I mean particularly the first one. Yes, directed by Doug Liman. Terrific, but then the last one was garbage. I thought if I could just meet Matt Damon, we'd be friends. You know, if I could just engineer a meeting, then I think we'd be buddies, really. I think I'd have what he would like in a friend, and then we'd probably buy like matching Triumph motorcycles and ride up Triumph Bonnevilles and ride up Pacific Coast Highway. We'd be so close, me and Matt Damon. We'd be like really tight buddies. I don't really know how engineer a meeting, really. I'd like to be friends with her. Talked on the podcast about being friends with Sting, but I'd like to be friends with a big Hollywood star, you know. And I'd keep it real. I wouldn't flatter him, you know. I'd say to him, why'd you do that Fourth Born film? It's crap. Matt, I'd tell him straight. I'd be the one who spoke truth to power, spoke truth to Matt Damon. You bet I would. But I don't think it's going to happen now, really. I don't think I'm ever going to be best friends with Matt Damon, which is sad. Sad for both of us, really, I think. So going past the kind of eastern edge of Waterloo station, going to go up this, I think it's a bike lane. It's more like a kind of World War I trench, isn't it, really? I'm going to go up here. Nothing really interesting to say. I think there used to be this is crap, isn't it? Bus stop in the middle of the bike lane and confused bus passengers. Not really integrated transport. That's where he parked the car on the left there. That's where the assassin parked the car before ultimately shooting Paddy Considine in the head, because people who work for the Guardian won't do what they're told and are sort of wimpy, panicky people. I think this is the way you're supposed to go on a bus, but it's hard, a bike. It's hard to tell sometimes, and you do end up sometimes getting mown down by a bus. It's pretty quiet though. It's just locked down. So yeah, we're going over, you know, turning north and about to go over Waterloo Bridge. Into a headwind. Quite a strong headwind. Unexpected. I thought I was in extraordinary physical shape because I'd found all this cycling so far amazingly easy. In fact, it turns out that was just I had a tailwind. I'm not fit at all. Over Waterloo Bridge, anyway. Built by women, I think, during the war. During the Second World War, largely built by women. Past the Hayward Gallery. Hayward Gallery, named after an extraordinarily mediocre Labour politician who ran the London County Council for many years. A habit that Labour politicians have, naming shit after themselves. And where we're going to go after this? We haven't really done much south of the river. Really. I promised to take you south of the river. It's been not been that much of it. Maybe next time we'll go further south there. That was a bit unsatisfactory, really. And the southiness of it was marginal, wasn't it? Savoy Hotel, Charing Cross Station, Terry Farrell, kind of postmodernist architect, kind of architecture. I think also did the MI6 building, type of architecture that briefly flourished and has now completely vanished, really. And I don't know, it's starting to look kind of vaguely stupid, I think, but I mean, I like it because it's rare now, but we can maybe try and get down onto the embankment and go east or west. And as lockdown, one of the things, I've been in Cardiff recently. I don't think I'm betraying any secrets by saying that I've been guest lead on several episodes of BBC One's Casualty, which was it's just an amazing experience just to get out of London, really. And we thought originally that we might be able to do a bike ride in Cardiff while I was there, but it was impractical, really. You can't, for any number of reasons. So that didn't happen. But once travel restrictions are eased, then I would very much like to just, go for the day and cycle round. I mean, Liverpool's an obvious one. Hastings, the south coast, and just do a couple of these films. I don't know how cycle friendly Liverpool is now, but just cycle around. So we will be going. If you're think this is overtly metropolitan, then I agree with you, really. And as soon as conditions permit, we will travel out of London to do these bike rides. I'm also going up to Glasgow in a couple of weeks. I'm doing are you happy with this, red light moaners? Do you find this enjoyable? You censorious bunch of bastards. I'm going up to Glasgow in a couple of weeks because I'm doing a documentary for Radio 4 about the Young Communist League, which was the youth wing of the British Communist Party. And but again, I think it probably won't be practical to take the bike and do a cycle around Glasgow at that point, really. We'll see. But I might do a little bit. I'm sorry about this. I might do a little bit of cycling on the pavement and go down where those two women were emerging. I might go down there. That might take us to the river. Good. So also there is an interesting thing. What do you think about the Northern Independence Party? I'm kind of quite excited about this. I rather like them. I was wondering how long. This is the Queen's Chapel of the Savoy. I once went to a christening there. A beautiful Georgian interior. I need to get my brakes tightened. So not if I die on this bike ride, because my brakes are barely holding me on this fairly gentle hill. Northern Independence Party already, I think, being accused of anti-Semitism, the weapon of choice of anybody opposed to socialism. I was wondering how long it would be before that happened. I think I can go straight across. And I'm going to go, let's go west on the embankment for a little while. I rather like the cut of their jib, the Northern Independence Party. I think they probably don't want. And I know the candidate that they've got standing in Hartlepool, Thelma Walker, who I did Squawk Box Socialist Telly with, seems like a lovely, genuine, decent person. I think, actually resigned from being an MP because she was so sickened with, certainly with the Labour Party. So I wish them good luck, really. This is nice, isn't it? I mean, it is nice. I come for a ride along here sometimes with my friend Vic. I know. It is good, this bike lane, cycle super highway. It is. I think there's actually a bloke standing for London Mayor on a kind of anti-bike lane platform, and in a way, I mean, not many people using it today. It's not like somewhere like Copenhagen where there's thousands of bicycles, and that is a situation we need to get to here. But I think it's kind of the way it's being implemented in a way. It's not the way to do it. This is lovely. Actually, did we come along here? We've already been along here once. That's actually all right. Let's do this. Let's turn left and go across. Go back south of the river. Go over. Is this Lambeth Bridge? Westminster Bridge, whichever one it is, and do a bit more south of the river, past you see on your left County Hall, the former head of the GLC, which Thatcher abolished simply because it disagreed with her. And we think this kind of illusion that we live in a democracy, but I mean, that's. I mean, how different is that to a South American dictatorship where, because the GLC, nearly used me bell now, because the GLC offered a competing and kindlier and often more economically efficient version of how to run a city in the country, that it was simply abolished in a kind of punitive and petty way, I mean, where's your democracy there, Johnny? I don't think so. I don't know whether that bottle was aimed at me. Otherwise, there'd be words. So we're going to turn left, go over whatever bridge this is, behind all these tourists on Ken Livingstone bikes, as I like to call them, socialism bikes, and we'll do a little bit more south of the river, Parliament again, so we seem to go past a lot. St Thomas's Hospital on the right, where Boris Johnson was treated for cocaine addiction. COVID-19. Hey! See, I just said hey rather than use my bell. It's easier. But it does come across more aggressive, I suppose. Then she was going to walk into me if I hadn't said something. I go left down Belvedere Road here. Can we do this? Is this possible? Let's see what happens if we... doesn't look... let's do it. Let's go down here. Oh yeah, this is a bike lane, isn't it? I think. It's a sort of random white line in the road anyway. Does that mean it's a bike lane or just a white line in the road? Interesting philosophical question. I think. You probably couldn't see it, Nicholas Grimshaw's train shed where the Eurostar pulled out before it moved to St Pancras. You impressed with me getting through that gap? I was. And then once the Eurostar had stopped leaving from there, it took something like 14 years for them to find another use for the, I'm exaggerating slightly, but because of the complexities of our idiotic rail franchise system and ownership of stations and blah, 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 it took 75 years before platforms started being used by suburban trains. Again, this is the Britain we live in. This is your Britain, people. This is what you want? Vote National Independence Party, I say. Northern Independence Party. Did I say National Independence Party? I meant Northern Independence Party. Back past the National Theatre, Neighbour Gallery. I think we can get up to back up to Waterloo Bridge here on a slip road, and then from there we'll head to our end point in you have to go, I think maybe you have to go around the fucking roundabout. Let's go up here. Oh yeah, there is a bike lane. Very early iteration of a bike lane. I think this is film crew filming there. Always sight to see. Sometimes I think about, having been in the business so long, I can find their catering wagon. I get myself a free lunch. Yeah, alright, we're back on Waterloo Bridge, so I don't know how long we've been going for, but we'll get over here, maybe get into Covent Garden, and then stop this shit. I can knock it off. Oh, maybe next time. I feel like I've shortchanged south of the river aficionados. We could go to Elephant's Castle. It's not far away. A lot to talk about there. And also, I can point out where I used to teach at the London College of Printing. And I used to think, in the early days, my early days of being on the television, that my students would see me on the TV, on OTT, or they think, now I understand why you're such a terrible teacher. I wasn't terrible, but I was very unconventional. Cleopatra's Needle, which of course, if you think about it, is the oldest object in London because it was looted from ancient Egypt. We've done that. This is you listen to one of my podcasts, it's about repetition, about doing the same thing over and over again. So, and its use in art. I have cite Manet's water lilies. Of course, painted. I think he painted Hungerford Bridge as well. But similarly, we are going over Waterloo Bridge for the second time. So I don't know if you feel that, that's a kind of rewarding experience. Hey! Alright. Is that bullying? I could use my... I don't know if this bell works really. Oh yeah, it does. Could have used that, couldn't I? Less aggressive, more aggressive. Hard to say. Probably. Yeah, all right. How long's that?
25.
We'll stop then. Should we just go straight ahead? Do you want to get ahead? Yeah.
Road, yeah?
Yeah, straight. I just heard me talking to Talal there as he went past me. He's going to get ahead of me and film a kind of end piece. You heard me say straight, and that was something that I adapted from, I don't know where I picked it up, I think from the radio. The police drivers, they always say, or they used to say anyway, straight, rather than just straight. So since then, there's a tremendous affectation. I always say right, or left, or straight. Which I think makes me seem like a tremendous prick. On that note, outside the Royal Opera House, Covent Garden, we bid you farewell until the next Alexei Sayle's slightly less locked down bike ride. Adios.